difference in that one little creature or one big creature. So evolution, did it change dolphins? Does anybody know the difference between whales and dolphins? They're the oldest. They're very old creatures on this planet as well. But I mean, they tried to say 250 years ago, 250,000 years ago, the human race. I mean, the first fish was put on this planet.
What?
25 million years ago. They're saying the first fish and the first land plant was put on this planet.
No. That goes back about 350 to 400 million years ago. Okay.
Well,
that's back during the Devonian and the Ordovician and Silurian and Devonian, when you had the earliest animals and plants evolving on this planet.
Well, I mean, history changes. Again, it's who you want to listen to. This I just put on my notes today. 25 million years later, after the 6 billion years when monkey and all that, the time of the first fish and land plants, the strip of land that was used for small islands which broke off of South America and Africa began moving across Lapidus towards North America. So it's history changes by the person that's trying to prove the facts around it. And where do they get the information? How can you prove something 6 million years old? By the bacteria in the earth, by the levels of the ground? I mean, it's like a tree. You measure the tree.
No. Tommy, that comes from radiometric isotopes. For as the best as we can, it doesn't come from carbon-14. It goes only back about 70,000 years. But all of the radiometric ages are used to determine actual age rather than relative age.
Just to show you how much a fallacy that is, take the Shroud of Turin. They can't prove that either way. They can't prove anything positive or negative about it, period. And they did every kind of test on that, every kind of research on that, and they still can't prove one simple little thing. And now, Brian Williams, right? Wait.
I disagree.
Wait.
I disagree with
Brian
you
Williams.
on that one.
Wait. You know Brian Williams? You know what an out-of-place artifact is?
Right.
All right. Science can't prove or disprove that, what it is, how it got there. And they're being found everywhere.
Well, the Shroud of Turin, for example, the only thing that they haven't been able to determine, and I'm in contact with Dr. Kenneth Stevenson, who was on the Strupp committee, who actually examined the Shroud of Turin.
Okay. I talked to 3 people that did. Okay.
And I've looked at the pollen data that came off the shroud. It was pulled off. It put it back in the area of Jerusalem in the first century. Okay? But the only thing that they haven't been able to adequately explain is how the fibers of the cloth became thermally mature just on one side and not the other side.
That's the most important part. That's the most important part of the shroud, because that's the part. Hold on one second.
That's where the image is burnt into that shroud, and they've tried to do it by putting a cloth on a hot, object, and to thermally mature just the contact side of it. But the one thing they are certain of is that image, that thermal maturity. The darkening of the organic fibers in the cloth happened very quickly. That's about the only thing they can be sure of, and that everything else beyond that is speculation.
Right. So, getting back to an out-of-place artifact, Brian had a piece of artifact that was completely out of time frame. The knife that was inside a rock. So, how can science come up with a solution or an idea of how it was created?
Well, you can. It can come up with different theories, and it can test those different theories. I mean, they've found things that look like spark plugs in concretions in the Death Valley, for example. Now, where did that come from? All right? Well, if you exclude prior advanced civilizations on this planet, then you just throw out the baby with the bathwater. now we're coming up with understanding that there were prior advanced civilizations, whether they were humans as we would define humans or something else, another humanoid, whether that humanoid be evolved on this planet or came from out in space. We don't know. But now we're just at the point to realize that the history as defined in textbooks is most of it is a lie.
That I agree with. But see, the other problem is time travel. If you accept that we actually can do time travel, if a person accepts that, which I totally know is true, if you accept that, then you got to go into the aspect the alien race that gave Tesla that technology already was doing it. So at that point, they could put a city underground whenever they want.
Everything's in a loop. No, it's basically what you're talking about is a loop, and that all time, past, present, and future exists at the same time, so that everything can communicate. In other words, the future determines the past, not the past determines the future. Is what you're basically saying, and that concept, I think, is right on. That we are in a type of loop, a time kind of loop that is correcting for its own mistakes.
Well, if we just listen to each other in a good way and put the facts together, it's like taking 3 scientists, putting them together as one instead of have 10 scientists working on different things. We could do incredible things. We could travel to the whole universe. We could do multiple things, feed all the starving children, if we were just intelligent enough to work together. Like you said,
but the problem is we're not. Tommy, most of us are not.
Oh,
they're right.
That's a problem.
And what we do know about the history of that is recorded in history and in Scripture is that that human forms or humanoids on Earth have gone through a boom and bust cycles. I mean, the so-called Great Flood was in order to remove most of the giants, the nephilim that had existed on the planet. So what makes you think that the next great catastrophe, global catastrophe, is not going to remove most humans from the planet?
I feel it has to. It has to. We're so far down.
I think you're absolutely. We have to purge this planet of, you speak of the cockroach, being around for a very long period of time. Well, we have replaced the cockroach in terms of causing damage to this planet.
Exactly.
And that is the problem right now, that we are the parasite, and we are too plentiful. And the elite, the mega-rich that are in control of all of this, I was listening to to a lecture by David Adair, who is a rocket scientist, and he was telling me how he and his group had developed all sorts of stuff to live in a space that would bring about the free energy and bring about medications that gave all of us good health, and these mega-rich didn't want it because it would destroy the oil industry and destroy the pharmaceutical industry and their profits. So all of this has been because of greed and deceit. And I see that we're a runaway semi headed for a solid wall, and we're going to crash or going to go off the edge of a cliff on this one. It is
Bruce, do you remember Sam Sherman?
Yeah, of course. He's a very close friend. Why?
Do you know why he turned against Brian and me?
No.
You know, he lost everything. He lost his house. He lost his business. He lost so many things. He did send me the Edwards Air Force audio. The original recording of that was the last thing I ever got from him and talked to him. I mean, I talked to his wife, but he's gone. He lost his house and stuff. I don't know if he's blaming Brian and I for that, which he could be. I mean, because he got involved with the UFO thing. So whether they came after him for that as well, who knows? But I was just wondering if you knew anything other than
he's living. He had to move out of that part of New Jersey where he was living,
right?
And moved to Freehold where he's living with his family now. He's doing okay, and he's starting to get back into the UFO field. But yes, there was a period of time when he just sort of went off the radar. Remember the Mohawk, when we were all there at Mohawk Resort in New York and gave our talks? That was extraordinary. But that was the last time I recall all of us being together. And then things started to fall apart after that.
Well, Brian and I went to his house a couple of times.
I was there too.
All these things. He said he told us a couple different things and everything. I was getting along really good with his wife and his daughter, and it was like I didn't know what happened, and all of a sudden it just like a bomb blew up, and he wouldn't even talk to me on the phone. Luckily, his wife picked me up and started talking to me. I was just wondering because Brian, he just turned his face against Brian as well. Don't forget, Brian proves what he says. He's not like all these other UFO people taking pictures and saying things and saying this is that and that's that. If we make a mistake, he'll come out and say it. And he openly admits it if he did something wrong or actually took a picture of something and realized it wasn't what it was or something. Not like many other people. They put pictures up that, somebody said it was a UFO and here, this is a real UFO. Again, I'm a rebel. I'm in Hawaii. I see UFO stuff going on all the time now. And it just boggles my mind how I'm right next to one of the biggest army bases in the United States. And they don't say much about it, don't talk about it. And what they do is incredibly wrong. Fracking is wrong anywhere. Never mind, pulling bombs up on this island is ridiculous. So we got a scenario of people, like you said, the rich people, destroying the planet, controlling the planet, so that normal people with a consciousness and some kind of a brain could actually use it. And I said, the Ten Commandments don't control the thinking of a human being, where government laws do. Even legalizing liquor, which I think is wrong, and making marijuana illegal is wrong. So the two things that would change the amount of people dying and the level of anger inside the United States could change in a day. If they outlawed liquor tomorrow, imagine, I'm sure everybody would be upset and crying. But if it wasn't legal, and marijuana was, people would be peaceful. Even that alone would make the world a better place. But they don't want a better place. They don't want children. They don't want lots of children. And why do you think the government sends children to war? You don't take a 17-year-old child and put him in a battlefield like he's going to know anything, have any kind of awareness. The age for the Army should have been 24 to 34. You have somebody that's a little mature, a little developed, and a little bit smarter. And maybe we wouldn't have had to lose so much to get anywhere. Our system's so screwed up. And I know the quote's pretty overdone, but like Jesus said, it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. And I prove that to myself almost every day of my life. I live with 2 millionaire families. I live with a billionaire family. And it just shows you the ignorance of money, what it does. And everybody wants to blame the Anunnaki or reptilian race or the Greys and everybody for the problems we have. I said, no. When you tell your wife you love her, your girlfriend you love her, are you willing to go through a couple little things to make it work? So who's this programming? There's other programming going on within our thinking. And I say it comes from Lucifer. Lucifer was allowed to control this realm. And the aliens as well. Right. They're all under Lucifer. So it's like, and God allows it because he makes us grow. If we don't grow out of here, we stay here. And like I said, evolution means you're going to grow here rather than become aware and you can leave here. Ascension means to leave this place, not stay in this place. Reincarnation just means coming back to this place. So those words are critical in my book.
Right. Well, you have, by your own admission, said that you've come back to this place. How many times?
Did. Too many times.
And
but
so
I know
have I.
why now. This lifetime, I learned